Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some more Immortal Empires start positions. This time we're looking towards fair Bretonnia. So not many changes, mind you, there's only 4 legendary lords for Bretonnia, barring a very noticeable one. But first let's talk about everything else. So Bretonnia as a nation is perfectly fine. It doesn't look like too much has changed for Immortal Empires, and we know that obviously Leon Leonka remains leading in Couronne, which is now known as the Marches of Couronne. That's all perfectly fine, and obviously the Fey Enchantress is still in Carcassonne. Reponse the Lyonesse remains in the coast of Araby, which kind of makes sense. It's a pretty good start for her, especially if you want to fight some Tomb Kings, and obviously with all the changes there, you've got a quite large variety of different enemies. But then we go to Alberic, which had a change I was not expecting. This is very interesting at the very least. Alberic de Bordelot has been moved to Lustria, which is odd. Anyways, it's going to be quite an interesting campaign. You start very close to Marcus Wolfhart, so you do have some allies, but it can be assumed that you will be fighting with a lot of lizardmen. It's strange. I like the position, but I'm not too sure exactly, mostly because it does make sense to move a Bretonnian character, because, well, yeah, let's be honest, Bretonnia is a very small country. We've seen it in Mortal Empires, it's one of the smallest, and it was getting a little bit cramped with Kamla there and all that, and if we ever get the Red Duke, they're going to need to make a little bit of space to allow for the Red Duke to actually expand. That being said, I'm not too sure what I think of the LUSTRIA Bowl, but it is better than sticking him in, say, for example, the Southlands right now, which is, well, becoming the Southlands Bowl, or the Southland Dome. Yeah, you know what I mean. I do have some slight concerns. Obviously, this area is quite inhospitable, so I do hope that he's had access to changing of what he can settle in, because, you know, sometimes Creative Assembly do forget those things. But it should lead to a pretty fun campaign. I mean, you're fighting Lizardmen, you're fighting Vampire Coast, you're fighting the Skaven. Obviously, we're expecting Skrulk to be there. There should be a few different enemies, and then if you move up, you've got the High Elves, the Dark Elves. So you can pretty much just make your way to different locations, and then obviously if you take over Lustria, you do have access to the sea lanes prior to that, so you can go to Cafe if you want, which should make it a bit more of a fun campaign. It'll give you some varied enemies, that's for sure. It would be kind of cool if Alberic had access to shipbuilding. I'm not too sure if that's what they have planned, but given the fact that they're so close to the Vampire Coast, it might be a good idea. Plus, it would give a unique Bretonnian playstyle, even if just one character had access to it. But I guess we're going to have to wait and see. So far, can't really complain about the Bretonnians, just not too 100% sure on how I feel about joining the Lustria Bowl. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion.